newspapers, painful saga, and the winners from the digital media revolution. Hi everyone, I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English, where JR and I help you upgrade your English with current events and trending topics. Today's lesson is number 433. So JR has uploaded the content to, where else? plainenglish.com/433. Coming up today, the first in a two-part series on the media industry. The internet age has not been good to traditional newspapers, but the industry has turned a corner, in part by consolidating, but also by specializing, as you'll see. In the second part, next week, we'll talk about the hottest new trend in American media. The English expression we'll review today is eat into, and JR has a song of the week. Let's get going. One of the big stories of the internet age has been the decline of American local newspapers. In the early days of print, big cities had multiple publications all competing for readers. At the time, the industry was characterized by high drama, big money, and few ethics. The old adage, if it bleeds, it leads, revealed that sensationalist crime stories were the biggest sellers. Busy street corners had competing paperboys screaming out the headlines in the papers they were selling. In the 20th century, the industry matured. Journalists followed generally accepted ethics and guidelines. Most big cities had 2 or 3 dailies. A medium-sized city would have 1 daily, and many small towns had a weekly paper. A career in journalism never meant big money, but it was a stable, prestigious job that involved, for some, the chance to travel the world. Newspaper writers were motivated by the fact that the residents of their cities would learn about the whole world by reading their words. The start of World War I, the sinking of the Titanic, revolutions in far-off lands, the world read about it all in local and regional newspapers. But radio and then television began to eat into print newspapers' audience. The advent of 24-hour cable news in the early 1990s took a toll, and then the internet age crushed the newspaper industry. The news industry made a critical mistake at the beginning of the internet era. They put all their content online for free. And in doing so, they conditioned their customers to expect to get the news for no charge. As readers moved online, revenue from print ads dried up. Online ads never made up the difference. As a result, many newspapers closed or slimmed down. Since 2004, the U.S. lost a quarter of its newspapers. Famous names like the Rocky Mountain Post, Tampa Tribune, Seattle Post-Intelligencer, and Honolulu Advertiser all closed or merged. In a way, that made a certain amount of economic sense. Why should Los Angeles and San Diego, just 2 hours driving apart, why should they both send reporters to Sacramento to cover California politics? In the digital age, consolidation makes sense. Local publications should focus on local issues, while national and specialty organizations should cover the big stuff. Luckily, there are signs that that is happening. After many years of losing money online, quality publications have successfully established paywalls for all or some of their content. And consumers are starting to pay for quality news, perhaps because they're exhausted by the low quality news available on television. What's even more interesting is that consumers are open to paying for multiple subscriptions at once. The New York Times and the Washington Post were both the dominant newspapers in their cities, but today they are international publications with 7 and 3 million paid online subscribers, respectively. They are the biggest general interest publications with paywalls. Many publications specialize in a niche, which allows them to target customers most interested in that niche. In business, the Wall Street Journal in New York and the Financial Times in London have 3.5 million paid subscribers between them. The Athletic is an online-only sports-focused outlet founded in 2016. The Athletic has never published free content. The 5-year-old sports publication now has over 1 million paid subscribers. TechCrunch focuses on startups and technology. Politico has a different paywall strategy. Politico focuses on political content in America and Europe. They make their money offering ultra-premium content to a small number of users, and they give the rest away for free. Outside the US, some big newspapers have had success attracting paid subscribers. The Times, The Guardian, and The Telegraph of London all have several 100,000 subscribers. Le Monde from France, Bild from Germany, and Corriere della Sera from Italy all have found success with the subscriber model. In Latin America, Clarín and La Nación from Argentina are both leaders in the paid subscriber model. However, the consolidation in the industry still left a lot of journalists without newspapers to write for, and a lot of readers with very specific interests. Enter the newest player in journalism, the newsletter. What, you might be thinking, is new about a newsletter. But that is what we'll talk about next week. Most of the newspapers that are closing are the local weekly newspapers. And these are full of cheesy, feel-good content. What kids got the best grades in school? Who baked the best pastries for the parade? Things like that. The Brookfield Journal was the local weekly newspaper in my town. It closed in 2009. I was on the front page of the Brookfield Journal one week. I think I was 12. I was on a rappelling trip. It's like rock climbing, but you go down instead of up. Well, they got a picture of me, one friend, and the instructor next to us as we were rappelling down the face of a cliff in our town. The instructor did a flip for the camera, so he was upside down as my friend and I were hanging on for dear life. Everyone in our town read the Brookfield Journal. I don't know what they do now, but I bet it's not the same as having a hand-delivered newspaper telling you all the town's news. Today's English expression is eat into. And this is a tough one, I'm not going to lie. It's also not very common. But you're not here to learn only the easy stuff, right? We use eat into when you have a mass of something, like time, money, a budget, savings, profit, resources. But something else takes away from what you have, and that generally doesn't make you happy. So like you, I have 24 hours available to me in each day. I plan my days around my job, my responsibilities here at Plain English, my sleep, my exercise, and some leisure time. A while back, a bunch of stuff started going wrong at my house. I had a leak in the ceiling in the kitchen. My microwave broke one day. My couch cushions were no longer holding me up, so I had to get my cushions restuffed. I had a problem at another condominium I managed too. And at the same time, I had all my other responsibilities. Well, dealing with all of those things at my house was starting to eat into my leisure time. So those unexpected repairs reduced the amount of leisure time I had available. So I say those repairs ate into my leisure time. Many small businesses are dealing with higher costs these days. I heard a podcast about a company that makes and sells toys. That company makes a profit by selling toys. Well, they ship their toys from China to the US in a shipping container that used to cost $2,700 for a one-way journey. But that price went up to $40,000. So guess what? The higher shipping costs are eating into the company's profits. The shipping costs were an unexpected external event that is reducing the company's profits. Gas prices are up both at the pump and for heating fuel at home. Residents in cold weather countries are paying more to heat their homes this winter. Those higher costs are eating into household budgets. That means the higher costs are taking more money out of household budgets. So, do you remember how you heard it today? Print newspapers were once the only way people got their information about the world. But radio started to eat into newspapers' audience. Some people could just get their information for free over the radio. They didn't need newspapers. So radio ate into newspapers' audience. Then what happened? TV came along. And the same thing happened. Television further ate into newspapers' audience. So the newspapers had an audience, and an external event caused their audience to become smaller. If you're a user of Instagram stories, you might know that videos are currently limited to 15 seconds. If you post a longer video, Instagram breaks up the video into 15-second chunks. Well, a new feature will allow you to post longer videos of up to 60 seconds. Instagram hopes that this will eat into TikTok's and YouTube's popularity. Instagram hopes this new feature will take some popularity away from TikTok and YouTube. TikTok, for its part, is experimenting with group messaging. I wonder if that might be designed to eat into WhatsApp's popularity for group messaging. One day soon, I'll write a lesson about the popular new way to pay for things in America, installments. Now, those of you in Latin America, especially Brazil, you know what I'm talking about. Instead of paying upfront, you agree to pay over time in fixed monthly payments. Companies that offer installment payments are hoping to eat into credit card companies' market share. So credit card companies dominate online commerce here in America. And yes, there are alternatives like PayPal and direct payments. But credit cards and debit cards are by far the most common way to pay online here in the US. But these new payment companies are trying to eat into credit cards' market share. The credit cards have a large percentage of the market. That's called their market share. And the new companies want to start to take some of that market share themselves. They want to eat into credit card companies' market share. It's Thursday, so it's time for JR's Song of the Week. This week, it's Cold Heart by Elton John and Dua Lipa. The song is a mixture of 3 Elton John songs: Rocket Man from 1972, Sacrifice from 1989, and Kiss the Bride from 1988. 83. Both he and Dua Lipa sing the lyrics. This was released, this song, in August 2021, and it was a surprise. Elton John and Dua Lipa each started teasing it on social media and commenting on each other's posts in early August, and in the middle of the month, they released the single. Oops, wrong button. How about this one? There we go. Well, that's all for today. Next week, we'll pick this topic up again with the rise of the subscription newsletter and how that's changing the media landscape, at least here in American media. Now, speaking of subscriptions, if you're looking to upgrade your English in 2022, you can improve your pronunciation, expand your vocabulary, and build your confidence with us, JR and me, right here at Plain English Plus. We have tons of tools and resources to help you get to your goals, and it's all backed up with a friendly and supportive community of members from around the world. So if that sounds like it's a good fit for you, come check us out at plainenglish.com/plus. plainenglish.com/plus.